Are wheelies tricks for showing off? Well, yeah, pretty much. You can use them a little bit on the trail, mainly for getting up things like steps in the trail, but definitely still worth learning. They can be quite daunting to learn, so in this video I'll talk you through the easiest way of doing it. Try and find yourself somewhere with a slight incline that you can ride up, ideally with sort of soft grass, somewhere where it's not going to hurt too much if you loop out. This is rocky and dry and hard packed, so it's not perfect, but do as I say, not as I do, and I'll start with my saddle up. Doing the wheelie uphill is going to be easier because your front wheel's already pointed up into the air, so it should take less force to start lifting it. And also, if you feel like you're looping out back off the power, it'll drop straight back down. Try learning to wheelie sat down, so you need your saddle quite high to get the power through the pedals. Also, it's really important to cover your back brake because that is what's going to save you if the front wheel starts to come too high. And ideally, it needs to be one finger so that you've got the rest of your fingers holding on to the bar for a good grip. Probably the most important part of being really good at wheelies and manuals is good rear brake control. It's the thing that you can trust to save you from a crash, so it's well worth trying to learn. Actually trying to wheelie without covering the rear brake is a recipe for disaster, even if you feel like you can jump off the back. Eventually, it should feel much safer to grab the rear brake than having to resort to jumping off the back, but if you're new to wheelies, I would definitely say do it on flat pedals just in case you have to jump off. Power into the pedals and body movement are the two things that you're going to need to get the front wheel up into the air at all, and it's all about timing the two things together to really get that pop. You need a good amount of power, and you get this just as your pedal comes up and over the top of the rotation. You need to time this and your body movement together. Lean forwards down towards your bars, stay seated and just bend your arms. See how that feels to begin with. Now together with the pedal stroke. Keep at it because you might find to begin with you start losing your balance to the side of the bike because you're using power really through one foot, and you've got to try and keep your weight central above the top tube, but it does definitely take a bit of practice. Again, you need to be really ready to pull that back brake and even do it a few times just to get used to the feel of it. Because you're going up the hill, your front wheel will already be nearer that balance point, which is the point of where if you let off the power, it'll drop down, or if you go too far, it'll go right up and over and you'll loop out. So the balance point is just on those sort of bit in between those two, and the rear brake is what you can use to help keep it there. It's going to definitely take you a while to master the rear brake. Like I said before, try and do it on soft ground because to learn this properly, eventually you will overcook it and probably loop out. So get practicing and make sure your rear brake is working well, and then just get used to doing it. Something that I think is important to remember when you're wheeling is to try and sit back into it. Quite a lot of people, when they get the front wheel up, sort of try and counterbalance it by bringing their weight forward. And you'll probably find that it's really easy to lose your balance doing that. So basically, when you're powering the wheelie, you should be sat like this, just the front wheel's tipped up in the air. So it feels like you start sort of becoming behind the bike almost. Then your arms should stay straight and hopefully you'll keep your balance much easier. You've got to keep at the wheelie, definitely take some practice, really trying to keep the weight central above the bike, but probably the most common mistake is having it in too light a gear. So when you chop down on the pedal and do your movement, you then instantly sort of run out of power. So maybe put it in a slightly harder gear than you think you need to. Once you've got it, you can then move on to a manual, so it's the same end result, you just don't need the pedal stroke to get the front wheel up, or even a coaster wheelie, one that I really like doing. So get the front wheel up and then you can sit behind the bounce point and just use the rear brake to hold it there. So there's how to learn how to wheelie. I think that's the easiest way to do it, is find yourself an uphill, keep at it. I think anyone can do this. It's just really all about getting that rear brake control nailed, because that's the one thing that should make you confident about holding it there without looping out. If you want to see how to improve another fundamental skill, then over there for how to improve your hops. And if you want to see Martin show himself and Blake how to improve our trial skills, down there for that one. Thumbs up if you like improving your bike riding, and subscribe if you haven't done already.